Welcome to Alpha and Omega Yoga. Let's roll out your mat and get started with an embodiment flow on Svadhyaya or self-study. This practice requires satya or honesty to see ourselves as we really are. It requires tapa or discipline to go inward and work through things in our life that may be difficult to face. And it requires ahimsa, non-violence, to see us as we are without being so hard on ourselves. Let's roll out your mat and get started. We'll start today in a child's pose, bringing your forehead down to the mat, connecting to your ujjayi breath, inhaling through the nose and exhaling back through the nose. Slowing our thoughts down, bringing awareness into the senses of the body, where our knees hit the mat, lifting into tabletop, pressing through the palm of the hands, connecting our breath to movement for cat and cow. Inhale for cow, exhale for cat. Taking this at your own rate, meeting in a downward facing dog, pedaling out the feet, again starting the practice in a very inward position. Bending the knees, step or jump, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bringing opposite hand to opposite elbow for a ragdoll pose. Small bend in the knee to release the lower back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, hands extending overhead, small spinal extension, hands to heart center, opening our hands to the right. Exhale, bringing them back to center. Inhale, opening them to the left. Exhale, back to center. Once more, inhale, opening to the right, back to center, opening to the left. Inhaling our hands overhead, spinal extension. Exhale, hands to heart center. Place one hand on your stomach and one hand over your heart, remembering to watch your thoughts as your thoughts become words. Watch your words as your words become actions. Watch your actions, for they become character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. Inhaling your hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Step back to plank. One inhale, set up your plank, lowering the knees down, elbows 90-degree angle. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. That's your modification. Inhale, right leg rises, tenting the right fingertips, opening the side body, sending our breath to wherever feels tight. Exhale, stepping it through. Inhale, hands overhead, crescent warrior. Exhaling our hands to heart center, twisting to the right, hooking that left elbow outside of that right knee. Connecting to your breath. Slowly returning to a neutral spine, crescent warrior. Send it forward, extending and pressing through that left heel, reaching through the crown of the head. Extending our hands out in airplane, take flight. Bending the right knee, bringing the left knee to stack over the right, left elbow to stack over the right. Eagle pose. Meeting ourselves where we are today, finding our focus, keeping your gaze on something that's not moving. Slowly untwist, keeping a bend in that right knee, stepping back to crescent warrior, opening the hands to the right, bringing it back to center, left foot out at a 90-degree angle, meeting in warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Bringing it forward, bringing our right fingertips to the ground or a block, crescent moon. Left hand extends overhead, left heel presses back to find balance. Stepping back in our warrior two, inhale, reverse. Exhale, right forearm to right thigh, left fingertips reach overhead. Inhale, reverse, straightening that right knee. Exhale, right hand to right shin, left hand extends overhead for triangle pose. Bringing awareness to our breath. Warrior two. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, toe heeling the feet out to an appropriate distance. Wide-legged, forward fold. Self-study can bring us into places of uncomfortability and difficult things we may not like about ourselves, or ways that we may need to change how we respond or react based on certain scenarios that we've been through. Slowly hands frame the foot, step back to plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Same thing other side, left foot rises and opens, tenting the left fingertips. Opening that left side body. Exhale, stepping it through, meeting in our crescent warrior. Exhale, hands to heart center, right elbow hooks outside of the left knee for our twist. Connecting to our breath here. While we may confront uncomfortability in this pose or uncomfortability in life, inhale our hands overhead. Exhale, eagle pose, right knee over left, right elbow over left. It's important to practice aparigraha in the teachings of Svadhyaya, or non-attachment. Making sure in our self-study we're identifying with who we really are, not stories that we're attached to and need to overcome. Releasing this pose, releasing those stories, finding our true self. Warrior three, pressing through the right sole of the foot, extending it backwards, reaching our fingertips out in front of us, bringing our hands to heart center, stepping back, crescent warrior, hands to heart center, opening to the left, opening to warrior two, left knee out to the pinky toes. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, crescent moon. Left fingertips graze the ground. Right hand extends overhead. Right heel is flexed and pressing backwards. Step it back to warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, left forearm to left thigh. If you want a little more here, lifting that arm, engaging the core. Inhale, reverse, straightening the left knee. Left palm to left shin, right hands overhead. Stepping back to plank, chaturanga, slowly with control, bringing awareness to your body. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, slow chaturanga, upward facing dog. Tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Bending the knees, step or jump, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bending the knees. Inhale, hands overhead, meeting in chair pose. Bringing our hands to heart center. Twisting to the right. Stepping that left foot back for a twist in crescent. Inhale, hands overhead, crescent warrior. Send it forward. Left knee raises, right hand outside of left knee, left hand extends backwards. Left knee raise with a twist. Releasing, meeting in warrior 3. Bringing your left hand to grasp the left foot, finding dancer pose. Raising that left knee. Exhale, step it back. Crescent warrior. Hands to heart center. Opening to warrior 2. Have to readjust on my mat there. Reverse the warrior. Exhale. Hands frame the foot. Step back to plank. One inhale. Set up your plank. Slow chaturanga. Take it back up on the inhale. Exhale, slow chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend the knees. Step or jump top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward folds. Meeting in that chair pose. Hands to heart center on the exhale. Twisting to the left. Chair pose with a twist. Accepting our bodies for how they move in this difficult, slow, but very balanced flow. Stepping the right foot back for crescent twist. I'm sorry, you're stepping the right foot back. Inhale your hands overhead. Exhale, take flight. Left foot is grounded. Right heel is pressing back. Right hand grabs right foot. Dancer pose. There's a rock under my left foot, sorry. There we go. This mat is not very thick. But part of self-study is accepting ourselves where we're at. Right knee rises, left hand hooks around the right knee, opening a twist to the right. Right hand is extended backwards. Slowly stepping back to crescent warrior. Inhale our hands overhead. Exhale, opening to warrior 2. Our left knee is bent in a 90-degree angle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, hands frame the foot. Step back to plank. Letting our heels fall out to the left for your expression of side plank. Whether this is traditional, modified, star, or tree. Meeting back in plank, heels fall out to the right, left hand extends overhead, taking your expression here. You've gone inward, you know how your body feels, taking the expression right for you. Bring the knees down, taking 2 to 5 chaturanga push-ups here. Sometimes facing ourselves and going inward is difficult, and finding the resilience to push through is important. Upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right knee goes out and around. Right foot drops for wild thing. Pressing through the feet, up through the hips. Bringing it back around, downward one-legged downward facing dog. Right leg tucks in for fallen, triangle, or squirrel. Your right foot can be down or you can grab it. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Left foot rises, falls outward, wild thing, pressing up through the hips. Left hand meets the mat, one-legged, downward facing dog, left foot, left knee comes in and across. Either grabbing that foot or letting the foot touch the ground for squirrel or fallen triangle. Downward facing dog, bending the knees, meeting in a child's pose. You met yourself today in all expressions. I offer you an inversion here, whether that's handstand, shoulder stand, or downward facing dog. Remembering child's pose is also an inversion and is welcomed here as well. Meeting in child's pose. Lifting to table, tucking our toes, shifting our hips back, downward facing dog. Right leg rises, right knee, right elbow, bringing your shin across, pigeon pose. Reviewing that Svadhyaya is self-study and requires honesty, or the Niyama of Svadhyaya, to see ourselves as we really are. Requires the Niyama of tapas, or discipline, to face parts of ourselves that we may not really want to face and may be difficult to face. It also requires the yama of ahimsa, or non-violence, to see ourselves as we are without being hard on ourselves. Releasing the side, coming into pigeon on the left side. Also remembering that aparigraha is vital for self-study. Non-attachment. When we go inward, we're not attaching or we're not finding old stories. Instead, we're moving forward and we're letting go of things that no longer serve us. We're finding our authentic self without the conditioning of past traumas, past stories, or other people's expectations of ourselves. In the Bhagavad Gita, it says yoga is the journey of the self through the self to the self. Lifting and coming out of this pose. Bringing our knees in. Inhaling our hands overhead. Right fingertips reach right heel and left hand extends over. Remembering as Christians that we aren't on a journey back to ourselves, though. We're on a journey to meet God, to live a godly life. Left hand reaches left heel, right hands extend overhead for camel on this side. Remembering that when we do self-study, we can get rid of parts of ourselves that no longer serve us to align ourselves to do God's will. Extending our legs out, tucking our hands under our seat bones, bring our elbows down for fish pose, letting our top of our head gently meet the mat, reaching through our toes, engaging our thighs. For a Christian, yoga is a journey of the self, through the self, and back to God's will for us. Bringing our knees in, letting them fall out to the left, gaze over our right fingertips. Bringing the knees back to center, just to fall out to the right. Bringing our knees back to center. Placing our hands at the base of our spine, lifting our toes for shoulder sprints, shoulder stand. Meeting in your final Shavasana, I offer you to place one hand on your heart, one hand on your stomach. Taking the time here for you. If you need to pause the video and stay here longer, feel free to do so. Thank you for practicing with me today.